jigs up reality. His name's Alex Murdaugh, and he murdered his wife and kid. Like, you can't write this stuff sometimes, you know? I know it's an awful, terrible thing. I'm just saying, like, is it, you know, and are they in the South, like, where they would pronounce murder? Alex Murdaugh performed a murder. Welcome, modern-day mystics, fellow truth seekers. James and Justin here, your favorite spiritual analysts on all things culturally relevant, helping you make sense of this divine yet somewhat peculiar reality we all find ourselves in. So, there's a story in the news, and we're just going to show you it.
Hands in cuffs, legs in shackles, it was the end game of a near unfathomable implosion of a family dynasty in South Carolina. Moments earlier, sentencing in a sensational murder trial that had gripped the United States.
In the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh, I sentence you for a term of the rest of your natural life.
Jigs up reality. His name's Alex Murdaugh, and he murdered his wife and kid. Like, you can't write this stuff sometimes, you know? I know it's an awful, terrible thing. I'm just saying, like, is it, you know, and are they in the South, like, where they would pronounce murder?
Jeez, I don't know. The thing that's weird is, isn't it interesting how stories come in...
Alex Murdaugh performed a murder.
It's interesting how stories can just come and go so fast. I didn't even know about this story. I'm sure it hit hard when it was first like, oh, the lawyer murdered his family. And then it's like totally gone with everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, and he's getting life in prison.
Yeah. I just found out about this. I sent it to you this morning because I was like, something here. You know, a lot of eyeballs on this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On this guy right here.
For the murder of Paul Murdaugh, I sentence you to prison for the rest of your natural life.
Alex Murdaugh from...
He didn't even blink. It was like, you're going away forever. And he didn't even, like, blink.
There's so much that could be said wrong here, but I can't help but look at a situation like this. You know, this guy is he's a high-priced lawyer.
I guess, yeah.
He looks like a fancy pants.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the other pictures of him, he's wearing a tux and, you know, real waspy family, or I think that's the word to describe just like a, you know, high-class, like, Caucasian family or whatever. But you could look at that and judge the shit out of it on so many levels. Just, what is going on here? Oh, another murderer of a certain persuasion. Like, what the hell is going on here? You know, it's just weird.
One of the
you know,
most
look at, he looks pretty normal. Look at him in his
in
family.
South Carolina himself, a wealthy, now disgraced lawyer, guilty of killing his wife and son.
He's lost a lot
Here's
of weight.
his new prison mugshot, shaved head and all.
Yikes.
When did you get home? Right when you...
But that such a person could even have been accused in the first place almost defied belief in that state, at least at first. In police video from that night, after he'd called 911, he says he'd found the bodies when he'd come home. But in court came this cell phone video from the son he'd soon kill, with Murdaugh heard in the background moments before the shooting. On the stand, he admitted to...
So I guess he lost his alibi, because they found the video of him the day that they were murdered at the house with them. Of the son, I guess, maybe taking care of the dog there in the cell picture.
Years of lying and of defrauding his clients out of millions, but said he's no killer. Said prosecutors the murders were to deflect attention from his other crimes. Add to that 3 other mysterious deaths, some link to the family, and is it any wonder the country was transfixed?
The depravity, the callousness, the selfishness of these crimes are stunning. The lack of remorse and the effortless way in which he lies.
I'm innocent. I would never hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never hurt my son, Pawpaw.
The judge called Murdaugh a monster.
I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you.
And Paul, we're still not to the end of this.
Crazy. Even after all that, he still was like, nope, I didn't do it. Even
Well, you know, I wore my monster shirt because the judge calls him a monster. But the interesting thing is he looks like a normal guy to me. He looks like people I've known and met, But it's interesting to think that behind the bow tie and the tux and everything, there's he's being accused of murder. There's always the chance. I wasn't there. Obviously neither of us were part of the jury or know much about the case. But if he did do it, look at how, he doesn't look that, he's got kind of it's easy to look at him and imagine look at those evil eyes. He's got no soul, but would you think that if it was just a guy you knew, like your neighbor?
No, which goes to tell you, how can you truly know? People can hide behind, what is it, psychopath or whatever? A psychopath has the ability to
homicidal maniac
to just totally look like they're normal when they've done the creepiest shit. Not to say I don't know.
Well, they don't always look that way. Sometimes you see a psychopath depicted and they're creepy as shit. But every now and then it's that apparently with Ted Bundy, he was very handsome and charming, but it was said that when he went into killer mode, his appearance would change and he would actually look unearthly frightening right before he did his killings or whatever.
Crazy. All right, let's polish this off. It's a legal story.
Yeah, not by a long shot, Ian. His lawyers say they'll appeal, but prosecutors also say despite the 2 life sentences, they're pressing ahead with nearly 100 other charges on that fraud that he admitted to during the trial. Total possible sentences on that, 700 more years. So he'll certainly be back in court, Ian. Whether he ever again steps foot out of custody is a different matter.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
There's tension around stuff like this. Do you find? Is it just me? Maybe I'm burying some murderous things inside myself. I'm making jokes about it. I'm wearing a shirt with a monster on it, But what kind of questions get raised in lieu of something like this?
It's what brought someone who appeared to have someone had the ability to make a buttload of money, live probably a pretty comfortable life, and yet it wasn't enough for them. And then, not only was he making tons of money being a lawyer, but then he committed fraud and got more money, illegally, and then murdered his family after all of that. What drives a human to do that? Is it just for money? Or is it
I don't know. Well, that's a good question. I think it has to do with why I feel tension right now. I think it's because we do these videos and we know lots of people watch them, and when I watch a video, it's easy to become critical of what's going on, right? But the fact of the matter is I do walk around with the sense that you'd never know which one of your friends and neighbors deep down are capable of what, There's some pretty fucking mean people I've met that I'm you're one bad day away from burying a hammer in someone's head, Not trying to freak people out, but I've also been very angry myself in life. If you got to defend yourself, I've been in fights before, What is the line between an icy-hearted human with no compassion?
Well, when people are put up against the wall in a hard spot, say maybe his wife was very close to discovering all the horrible things that he'd done, and he was panicking and I have to kill them because if I don't kill them, they're going to expose me and I'm going to go to jail forever. Right. When they're and especially if you're living in a lavish, comfortable thing and you cheated your way to get there and now it's about to all be undone.
Yeah, but fuck you, man.
But I'm just saying that's probably the stuff that
I know, but if you're the type of person that even achieves that shit, I know people are we got to stop blaming people for success. It's we live in a competitive world, and no, I do think a lot of the people that attain success would step over their mom to get it. Fuck you, me first, but I get this weird sense that person would, they're willing to lie and cheat people out so that they, how does that happen, man?
Yeah.
How much pressure did you get put on you when you were growing up by people to like, you better be a fucking success. You better be. You know, that you're like, you gotta do evil shit to get it. Chill the fuck out. No, you don't. By the way, if you're watching this, you don't have to be shit. You don't have to be a success, anything. You know, life is damn short, and karma's fucking real, and shit comes back around.
Yeah.
You gonna sleep at night? If you're that cold, where you're like, I could strangle somebody to death and have a nice bath after, then you're fucked. It's gonna bleed through. People are gonna tell. They're gonna.
Well, the crazy thing is that at the end of that, what were they talking, like 700 years? I don't even know why they do that. Why don't they just say, okay, we're putting you in a box and throwing the key away? Because I don't understand this whole process of like, he needs to go back to the court after he's already being put in prison forever.
I know this.
It's like, why are we don't need more court cases to prove, you've already decided he's going there till he dies.
It gets ridiculous sometimes with these things, but I believe there's good reason for why there's...
Maybe it's the money or something for the people that he screwed over that they need to like find ways to pay them back and
just due process.
I guess
there's more of that holds society together. I think,
but some of that irritates me because it's like you're just holding up courts and other cases for a guy who's already gone forever.
Yeah,
but what are you gonna?
You ever sat in on a court case? Sometimes they're like fucking boring as hell.
No, thank God. I think I've gotten out of jury duty legally.
Yeah.
Like 3 times.
Yeah, same here.
Not
3 times, once.
Yeah, 3 times because I moved in every case. I was living somewhere and I got a jury notice for like an area that I was living in, but then I moved out of it and they were like, sorry, you can't do it. So
And that's exactly what I was thinking of, is that time right before, like when you're about to face jury duty and you've got to get a little taste of what a court thing is like, and you're like, how do you, I can't do it.
Well, anyway, guys, let us know what you think about this video. If you have any comments, please let us know. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everybody. Until next time, stay spiritual.